Hello, and welcome to UNA.
Where you get your trusted campus and local news.
UNA has turned 190 years old this year. The university was founded on January 11, 1830, and was originally known as LaGrange College. UNA is the oldest university in the state and is home to live lion mascots. The president of UNA, Kenneth Kitts, believes that the university should do more to celebrate this anniversary. Founders Day is a new tradition to the university, but is expected to continue to be a success in the years that follow. More events are set to be scheduled as the university celebrates its 190th year, including a new historical marker that is to be revealed February 24th, acknowledging the changes that the university has undergone in an effort to be more inclusive.
The Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals has upheld the death sentence of a man convicted of capital murder, first-degree assault, and shooting into an occupied vehicle from a case that happened in 2016. Peter Gerald Capote was sentenced to death in 2018 for killing 19-year-old Kiana Freeman. This is believed to be a gang-related killing, as Capote and two other men involved were members of the Imperial Gangsters. According to the court's decision, Freeman was murdered because he allegedly stole an Xbox from one of the gangsters. He was shot to death outside apartments in Tuscumbia. The judges rejected Capote's pleas that the death sentence was too harsh for the crime.
An Alabama lawmaker wants to propose a new constitutional amendment to reform the state's bail system. Senator Cam Ward of Alabaster wants to make bond revocation mandatory. Bond would be denied for someone who has previously been arrested for being involved in some of the most violent crimes. This bill comes after learning more details about a Nia Blanchard case that happened in late 2019. Senator Ward, Republican of Alabaster, says no bond for people who have been arrested for certain crimes, including murder, first-degree rape, first-degree sodomy, sexual abuse, sexual torture, or human trafficking. Ward plans to file the bill when lawmakers go into session in February of 2020.
On Tuesday, House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said that the House will vote to restrict President Donald Trump's military actions in Iran by the end of the month. This vote is another win for Democrats, following a separate bipartisan solution passed by the House to limit the president's war powers. These decisions are the result of Trump's killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani earlier this month, making the order without congressional consultation. This House vote has been the biggest challenge to a White House's war authority since Congress contemplated cutting off funds for the Iraq War in 2006.
There is an ongoing conflict between local Room at the Table and Florence City zoning officials. More on that story now. Room at the Table provided a free community meal available to anyone until December of 2019. The nightly event was hosted at the First Presbyterian Church on Tennessee Street in Florence. In December, Room at the Table secured a building of its own in the Seven Points area of Florence. This is when difficulties began. The business was denied a certificate of occupancy for the new location by the Florence Board of Zoning Adjustment. Zoning officials expressed that Room at the Table did not fit the zoning requirements for the area where its new building is located. The organization also met opposition from some community members and city officials. The City of Florence Board of Zoning Adjustment denied Room at the Table's appeal by a vote of 4-1 on January 9th. Room at the Table will appeal the decision to the Circuit Court of Lauderdale County, according to at least one board member of the nonprofit. We will keep you updated as new events unfold in this story. For UNA News, I'm Harold Lewis Jr.
Our local Florence Police Department says that knowing the warning signs can help prevent becoming a victim of human trafficking. Florence Police Sergeant Greg Cobb said that because North Alabama is only 2 to 3 hours away from several metropolitan areas where human trafficking is becoming more common, the public needs to stay vigilant. Cobb spoke at the Residence Inn Hotel in Florence and taught the staff how to identify the signs of human trafficking. Sergeant Cobb has said that human trafficking can take on many forms that include sex and labor, and ages of these victims can vary from children to adults. Signs of sex trafficking can include groups of children with only one supervising adult, rehearsed behavior in social settings, and shyness. Sergeant Cobb urges the public to follow the see something, say something rule. Sergeant Cobb says, "I would rather somebody call us and us check on it than us let something go by and a family member gets lost or taken." If you suspect someone is a victim of sex trafficking, you are asked to call 911 the Florence Police Department at 256-760-6500. The department can also be found on Facebook.
The Alabama Music Hall of Fame in Tuscumbia is celebrating its 30th year in 2020. Sandra Burrows, the executive director for the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, says we have singers, songwriters, producers, and musicians, all from the state of Alabama. They were either born and raised here, moved here quickly afterwards, or have really strong ties to Alabama. Exhibits in the museum include displays of clothing, musical instruments, and transportation used by artists, Burrows says. Our biggest exhibit is the Alabama Tour Bus. Although the Alabama Music Hall of Fame recognizes artists from all over the state, Burrows said that the location in the Shoals is important. The history of music actually starts in Muscle Shoals. When the state of Alabama decided to erect the museum, it was obvious it needed to be in the Shoals area, Burrows said. Every 4 years, the Hall of Fame inducts 4 new artists. On January 25th, Hall of Fame inducted local singer-songwriter Gary Baker, Birmingham businessman Elton Bryson Stevens, rhythm and blues pioneer, singer Willie Mae Big Mama Thornton, and 5-time Grammy Award-winning film composer Mervyn Warren. The sold-out event was hosted at Florence's Marriott Shoals Conference Center. The event is the Hall of Fame's biggest fundraising event of the year.
Florence City Schools Superintendent Jimmy Shaw delivered the system's first State of the Schools address on January the 13th. Shaw says that safety and student learning are 2 of the major topics that he wanted to highlight. Virtual classes have become a part of the curriculum and has been praised by both students and teachers for the flexibility that they have provided. Florence City Schools' grade has improved from a B to an A in the most recent state report card. The superintendent says that it's our job to prepare students for success in the community. Dr. Shaw says that the school system looks to expand on their partnerships in the future with other local colleges, such as the University of North Alabama, Northwest Shoals Community College, as well as the City of Florence.
50 people have been arrested in Franklin County in a year-long drug warrant operation. Law enforcement agencies in Franklin, Marion, Colbert, Morgan, and Lauderdale counties joined the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency and other state agencies to conduct this investigation, which they have called Direct Impact. Authorities have confirmed that they were able to get more than 80 grand jury indictments and arrest warrants for people involved in the investigation. Charges range from drug possession, distribution of controlled substances, drug trafficking, chemical endangerment of a child, and more.
UNA's Norton Auditorium is undergoing their first major renovation since it was built in 1969. Our news team got a first-hand look. UNA's Norton Auditorium is currently undergoing major renovations. The auditorium was built in 1969, and no repairs or upgrades have been made since that time. The $1.8 million project is expected to be finished around March. We sat down with some theater students who had some input on the renovations.
I found out about the renovations of Norton probably like before Christmas break. Maybe around that. No, that's when I found out about it.
That's when you found out about
Yeah,
it?
I was really late to the game.
I found out about it. I was in Little Shop over the summer, and Charlton told us after rehearsal one night, and we found out that it was being renovated, and we were really excited, especially for our musicals that we do on the stage. One of the things that they're doing is making the acoustics better, and that's going to be really good. And also, like, the theater's old. Like, it's been around for years, so they wanted to update it and make it better, especially for like the symphonies in there, dance recitals are in there, just all different kind of things are in there, especially our summer musical that we usually do.
I think it opens up a new field to to do more things. They can have people come in and tour, and have more advanced equipment and technology that they can use to meet those needs for the touring companies, maybe, like the acoustics and stuff. So,
Kayla Manzalillo, the technical director here at Norton, gave us a detailed rundown of the renovations.
The paint job is improving because it's been painted the same way since the 60s, when they first opened it up, and it was like, I think, Florence, University of Florence, whatever, technical college or whatever it was called. So that's why it was blue. and they're patching and repairing holes and leaks and where water damage has happened. So all that's getting fixed, so it's going to look better. And then our rigging system is being completely redone, gutted, and then we're getting a brand new complete system that's going to make it safer for students and for us to operate.
Reporting from UNA, I'm Wes Tomlinson.
Earlier this month, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced that they wish to step back from their royal duties and to become financially independent. Queen Elizabeth and Buckingham Palace have announced that the Prince and Meghan Markle will split their time between the UK and Canada as they step back from their duties as senior royals. His and Her Royal Highness titles have been stripped as they will no longer be working for the royal family, working members of the royal family. However, they will still remain the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, according to a statement released from Buckingham Palace. Last year, the Duke and Duchess moved from Kensington Palace to Frogmore Cottage in their bid to create a separate royal household. The statement said the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have shared their wish to repay sovereign grant expenditure for the refurbishment of Frogmore Cottage, which will remain their UK family home. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will no longer receive funds from the public, and although they will no longer formally represent the Queen, they have made it clear that they will continue to uphold the values of Her Majesty. These changes are expected to take place this spring.
The Florence Lauderdale Animal Services has introduced a new program that will focus on improving the behavior of cats in the shelter. Cheryl Jones, director of Florence Lauderdale Animal Services, says that the most rewarding part of her job is working with those animals who have been neglected and not taken care of, and then you can see them blossom and become someone's beloved companion. The Jackson Galaxy Project has selected the shelter to participate in this year's Cat Positive, which is a behavior training program that helps to make cats more adoptable. Jones encourages volunteers to visit and hang out with the cats at the shelter. It will give the cats a chance to practice what they have learned from the program. For more information about the program, adoption, or volunteering, please visit the Florence Lauderdale Animal Services website.
According to authorities, a local woman has been charged with assisting an escaped Alabama inmate who was eventually recaptured in the Tennessee Valley. 23-year-old Kayla Jean Fryer has been charged with hindering the apprehension of an escaped inmate, 26-year-old Xavier Lamont Armstead. Both were arrested in Florence on Wednesday. Armstead is being charged with escape as well as other offenses. He was serving 19 years for burglary convictions in Colbert County. Prison officials say Armstead escaped by fleeing a job site in Tuscumbia.
The University of North Alabama senior Caitlin Hope McCrary was crowned Miss UNA 2020 at the Miss UNA program, The Greatest Show on Earth, over the weekend. 13 contestants competed for the title of Miss UNA, and the program was held at the Florence Middle School auditorium on Saturday. McCrary will now move forward to compete for the title of Miss Alabama. McCrary will receive a one-year tuition scholarship and will receive a custom-designed Miss UNA ring provided by Creative Jewelers in downtown Florence.
This weekend, local nonprofit organization Cruising for a Cure hosted their second annual Shoals Cupcake Wars, where local bakers competed for a KitchenAid mixer and bragging rights, all for a great cause. Cassidy Beck has more details.
On January 25th, Cruising for a Cure hosted their second annual Shoals Cupcake Wars for SIOD research. This event was held in downtown Sheffield, where local bakers competed for a KitchenAid mixer, and all proceeds were donated to Cruising for a Cure Foundation.
My name is Jessica Davenport, and I'm the founder of Cruising for a Cure Foundation. My children, Cruz and Paisley, are both diagnosed with a very rare and potentially fatal dwarfism. So we started our foundation to raise money for their research. So we have events just like the one we're going to tell you about every year. All year we have events, and we raise money to send $30,000 a month for research. And this is Tori.
I'm the marketing director for Cruising for a Cure Foundation. I do all the marketing, and I plan events and fundraisers such as this. We're at Shoals Cupcake Wars today. We have raised at minimum over $2,000 so far, without counting all the rest. We're super excited to be here today, and we've had a plethora of people in and out of the door tasting as many cupcakes, all for a really great cause. We came up with an idea last year, and we started small, and we sold out in 5 minutes. So this year we restructured. We have local bakers, people who just love to bake, bakeries, you name it. Anybody and everybody is welcome to in our Shoals Cupcake Wars. They bring their cupcakes, and we divided them up into samples, and we did tickets at the door for $10. And with your ticket, people got to drink the cupcakes, and they got tickets to vote for their favorite winner. And so whoever has the most tickets at the end will be declared the winner of Shoals Cupcake Wars. So they're judged by the audience who is here taste testing all their delicious cupcakes today. I know it's a hard decision.
So SIOD, it's short for Schimke immunoosseous dysplasia. How the disease presents itself first is probably protein in the urine, which alarms kidney failure. All the children have a T-cell deficiency, which means they have super low immune systems. A lot of times the children lose their battle because of infection, because of their T-cells can't fight what they, contract. And then it's also a dwarfism, so it's short stature. Cruz is 6 years old, but he's the size of like an 18-month-old 2-year-old, if that gives you an idea. And they're never going to get over 3 feet tall. Kidney failure, T-cell deficiency, skeletal dysplasia, which is part of their dwarfism. And then, they have problems with their thyroid. There's a lot of seizures and strokes that you have to watch for that's underlying. Their body's pretty much missing a piece of the puzzle. The way we explain it is like you take a novel and there's one typo in the novel and you have to find that typo because that one typo is messing up their entire story. If you're talking about an orphan disease that nobody understood, you have to pay the scientists salaries for their time, you have to buy the supplies for the lab, and it totals $30,000 a month. And that's just to keep basic research so they can understand the disease, because you can't move forward if you don't understand it. Yeah. And we've been spending $30,000 for the past 3 years and getting ready to do really larger projects. Our research team are coming up with budgets right now because they want to take the next step into research, but it's going to be pricey. Facebook's probably our biggest platform just because everybody's on Facebook and you can give. But honestly, we have a P.O. box. We receive, a lot of people who don't do social media and they just want to mail in their check. We have a post office box.
And that's listed on our website. It's cruisingforacurefoundation.org, and there's also a donation tab on our website where you can give a gift in memory of someone, or you can give a one-time gift, or that's how you sign up to become a monthly donor as well. Yeah.
And our monthly donors, we get, probably I would say 18,000 a month from our collective monthly donors. So that's how we send $30,000 a month.
For more information about how you can become a monthly donor for the foundation, please visit cruisinforacurefoundation.org. For UNA News, I'm Cassidy Beck.
Wilson Dam Road will be closed for 10 months, according to the Tennessee Valley Authority. Crews will be conducting routine maintenance on 3 generators on the 95-year-old Wilson Dam. The road on top of the dam will be closed until later this year due to safety reasons. The closing will eliminate the easternmost route across the Tennessee Valley at Florence. However, 2 other bridges near the town center will still be open. Scott Fiddler, a spokesperson for TVA, says that instead of opening and closing the road again as they normally do, TVA has decided to keep the dam closed after the work is completed so drivers can plan ahead. The road will be repaved once the work is completed.
In Colbert County, authorities issued a warrant for the property owner in Tuscumbia where 2 dead cows were found. The property is located on Cook Lane. Authorities have not identified the owner, but have told reporters that the individual is a truck driver who has been gone for an extended period of time. The owner will be charged with failure to burn or bury dead livestock, as well as face felony animal cruelty charges. The dead livestock were removed, but there were several malnourished cows and a goat on the property.
There have now been 5 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the United States. All 5 patients have recently traveled to and from Wuhan, China. There have been confirmed cases in Illinois, Washington State, California, and Arizona. The Center for Disease Control says they expect the numbers to rise in the U.S. and are taking aggressive measures to contain the spread of the virus within the United States. While they do consider it a public health threat, the immediate risk to Americans is considered to be low. The coronavirus is spread between people and animals. This particular strand of the virus has been linked to a market in Wuhan, China that was selling seafood and live animals. The market was also selling wild animal species, and the Chinese government has now banned all sales of wild species throughout the country.
Muscle Shoals police continue their work in a 5-year-old unsolved double homicide case. 5 years ago, Kayla Glover and Gary Wayne Baskins were shot and killed outside a busy restaurant in Muscle Shoals. Muscle Shoals police insist that the case is not cold and is still on an ongoing investigation that they work every day. The police say they need a few more pieces to the puzzle to be able to arrest the person or persons of interest in the case. If you have any information about the case, you're encouraged to contact the Muscle Shoals Police Department.
On January the 26th, the world lost one of the greatest basketball players to have ever lived. Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna were among 9 people killed in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. Bryant and his daughter were on the way to a travel game that Gianna was scheduled to play in. Investigators are looking into the cause of the crash, and according to the Los Angeles Times, it was most likely caused by bad weather. Before the Knicks and Nets game on Sunday, Madison Square Garden paid tribute to the legend, while at the same time, Los Angeles mourned its favorite player.
The Kappa Nu Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha hosted its annual Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast on January 18th at the Marriott Shoals Hotel and Spa in Florence. We have that story for you now. Hundreds of visitors came out to enjoy an engaging event that included a full breakfast and hope-filled messages.
As our youth speaker this morning.
This goes to show that anyone can be a leader, no matter how young or old, no matter what race, no matter what gender.
Because we have so many children in our community that just need a positive role model in their lives. And I see so many out here in this audience that if you could step up and be that for a child, it would just be life-changing.
There was also a brief award ceremony and inspirational music. This year marked the 29th Unity Breakfast. The keynote speaker, Reverend John Carter of Pleasant Hill Baptist Church in Hernando, Mississippi, encouraged those in attendance to embrace a life of service, the theme of this year's event.
MLK, Dr. King says everybody can be great because anybody can serve.
For UNA News, I'm Harold Lewis Jr. On Monday, a fire destroyed dozens of boats and killed 8 people, including 4 children, at a Scottsboro marina. Fire Chief Gene Neckloss says that the death toll could rise as rescuers work to access sunken hulls. There were 35 boats, pontoon vessels, and houseboats that were destroyed by the dock fire. 7 survivors were pulled from the water and treated for minor injuries, mainly hypothermia due to the cold water temperatures. Rocky Hornan, Jackson County Chief Sheriff's Deputy, says that finding all boats accounting for the missing and notifying family members of the deceased could take several days. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Thank you for joining us today, where it's always a great day at UNA.
Join us again at noon, 4, and 6 for the latest in breaking local and campus news.